Welcome back.
It's been a while.
You know how long it's been? I looked it up.
No.
It's been over a month since our last podcast.
Oh my God.
And another fun fact is the last podcast we did with Kyle, with Mr. Kyle Hates Hiking, was by far, by like a large analytical margin, the most listened to podcast we've ever done.
Weird.
Like, I'm talking 50% better than any of the closest other episodes.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's weird. That's cool though. I meant to tell him that too.
Wow. Congrats, Kyle.
Congrats to us and Kyle. I need some bourbon. So yeah, we've been out for a while. The reason being, if you check us out on Instagram, we've been out in the western part of the United States for the last like 3 weeks. And then before that,
on and off,
I got deathly sick and threw the stomach flu in there too.
Not COVID,
but speaking of COVID, big updates. We're one shot in. And you got the same one I got, right?
Yeah, we're rocking the Moderna.
Hashtag Team Moderna. So speaking of that, I know I told you this and I've said this a lot, but we're going to do the call-in show.
I know.
After we get that second vaccine, we're licking doorknobs.
We're licking doorknobs.
Yeah, after we get the vaccine, everybody's invited over.
Yeah, right.
I'm joking. Yeah. So.
Oh man, somebody just asked us, and I completely forgot about this. What happened with Kyle's chair? Because we got all that money.
I don't know, actually.
We gotta figure that out.
I gotta figure that out. I gotta look at the super chat thing, because I think you have to have 100.
Oh gosh, Kyle's chair fund's still coming in. Brittany Collins, $10 right into Kyle's chair.
I think you have to get $100 in super chats before they'll cash you out.
Okay.
So we're definitely not there yet, and I'm not saying please do not give us money for Kyle's chair.
Yeah, no more money for Kyle's chair. He's set up. He's gonna be good. Don't worry.
Yeah,
all right.
Make him pay for it.
Yeah, thank you, Brittany. Though that's very nice of you.
That's really cool. Okay, you have the we'll actually pay attention to the comments.
Yeah.
Up here. It's been a while. Let us know if like the audio goes out or anything like that. That's always that always happens. All right, what are we drinking? Okay, is it strong? Is it good?
Yeah, it's all right. This is Redemption.
Oh, that's good.
High rye bourbon.
That's good.
This is interesting. This is single barrel select. It was picked for Ohio.
Yeah. Shout out to my mother-in-law. Got that.
Yeah. No, it's good. It just caught me off guard.
It's strong. It's really good.
Yeah.
Redemption.
It's Indiana.
And you got some bourbon picks too.
Yeah, we got a lot.
What did you get? Andy won. Well, Andy didn't win, but Andy.
My father-in-law won some single barrel select Eagle Rare. We got some Stag Junior out west.
Oh yeah.
We got some good stuff. I got some store picks out west as well.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll discuss the bourbon situation in Nevada is so much better than Ohio.
Yeah, it's good and it's bad. It's good because it's not. I don't think it's what they call allocated, meaning the state like allocates the supply for the stores.
Yeah.
So it's kind of up to the stores, I believe, on what they're stocking and where they're getting it from, but they also don't control the prices.
Right. It's not like Ohio, right, where it all costs the same.
So meaning like
you buy it.
Yeah, like so liquor stores could be like, this is a really popular bourbon. I'm going to mark it up because people will pay.
And that happens out there.
Yeah, I paid a little bit more.
And doesn't that happen in Kentucky as well? Because I remember when we went to Total Wine. See, in Ohio, it kind of sucks, but everything costs the same no matter where you are. And when we went, I'm checking when we went to Nevada and Kentucky, that wasn't the place. All right. So that is the topic of discussion for tonight. So also we got to shout out that we're going to do the official, because a lot of people ask us questions on Instagram. We're going to do the official Q&A next week.
Yeah, next week we'll do the official Q&A. We'll devote some more time for it.
And then after that, we got some more guests coming back. We'll get more into the groove of things.
Yeah.
We're back after a month off.
It was a good month off.
Feels good to be back.
Yeah.
So, should we talk about Massacre Rim? I have some I have some like points, some key points to discuss.
Well, before we jump into that, so a new video just got released of an overnight that we did in Nevada called Massacre Rim. It was a Jeep camping overlanding trip.
First topic of discussion.
Well, hold on. Let me explain why we chose this.
Okay.
Just
all right.
You got a million thoughts going through.
Let's go. I'm ready.
So
it's been like 6 weeks since we've done this.
Yeah,
it's pent up.
So Kevin and I were in Nevada visiting our sister, niece, and nephew. We wanted to do a bunch of backpacking out there, and we chose not to do a bunch of backpacking, even though we brought all of our gear, because the snow levels in the Tahoe region were still a little crazy.
So we packed like everything. This is the first time we've done this. It was kind of spontaneous. We're like, let's just pack all the crap. We'll figure it out when we get out there.
Mm-hmm.
So we packed for winter, like mountain.
Yeah.
So I brought a lot of stuff we didn't end up using. And then when we got out there, the snow, I was just telling my sister, I was like, I'm done with the cold camping.
Yeah. We put in our time.
Even though this trip, which we'll get to, was very cold.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm done with the snow and the cold. And like, that was fun. And having the hot tent is a game changer.
Yeah.
And I can't see a winter trip where we don't take the hot tent.
No way. It's just, it's like the Florida Keys.
Unless we're going somewhere where the wood situation sucked.
Yeah. So anyways, we get out to Nevada, and our brother-in-law had been talking about Massacre Rim, which is, Kevin will explain what it is. But he had been talking, he'd mentioned it on and off.
While you talk, I'll pull it up.
He had been mentioning it on and off for a little while about driving up there and checking it out and staying out there. And it's known as what they call a dark sky sanctuary, which... Yeah, we're getting educated on these dark sky sanctuaries on the comments, and I really appreciate it. It's actually very interesting.
Okay, here we go. So this is just like a website that talks about it. So I didn't know this was the thing.
I didn't either.
So there are these certain areas of the world that, because of the geography, because of the fact that they're so far from any artificial light source, they're like these designated dark sky areas, and apparently there's a lot more of them
than I knew.
I'll make this a little so you can see us.
According to Poucher, who commented, there's one in Ohio actually.
And I would believe that.
I would too. And then Boundary Waters is a dark sky.
Yeah, someone told us about that
and
too.
Then someone commented that Katahdin, the area of Katahdin, is also a dark sky
that also makes sense.
Yeah.
So the point is, you can go there if it's not cloudy, and you can see like all these, like, as you can see on the screen right now, you can see like you just see all like the Milky Way. You can like see all the stuff that you couldn't normally see because there's no light. And like, honestly, there have been many times backpacking, you get some pretty good views.
Mm-hmm.
But this place is supposed to be like magnitudes better.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know. So anyway,
but it's also important to note that, what was it? Nevada is like 66%, something like that, public land.
Oh, no. No, it's like 85%.
Oh, I thought it was like in the 60s.
The state of Nevada, 85% of it is owned by the government and is designated as Bureau of Land Management.
Yep.
Which is very cool because they're very loosely regulated, other than like Area 51 and that stuff.
Yeah.
And
but it gets some great opportunities for recreating.
It is crazy out there. I mean, if you just live in Nevada, it is a random place to live. Let's say you're in like Reno, like we were, like Carson City, like you can drive, to the east a mile or two, and you're in the desert, and you're like dune buggying and like stargazing, whatever, and then you drive to the west, and you're in the mountains of Northern California. So it's like timber country, it's like mountainous. So, and they're so close that there's just like so much stuff to do out there. And part of that is because there's so much of this BLM land. And so that's where we went in. I should pull this. I should get some Google Maps up.
Yeah. And those of you that watch the video, our brother-in-law has a Jeep Rubicon. We're
going to talk about that.
Yeah. You could not do this without that. You needed a lifted SUV with aggressive tires and the ability.
And I was pleasantly surprised with how many pickup trucks I saw out there in that. I didn't realize you could do that kind of stuff in a pickup truck, but you definitely needed something lifted, I think.
Yeah. And tires, man, because I mean, the drive, I mean, probably half of the trip was on a dirt road.
Yeah.
It was a 4.5 hour drive. About half of it was on a dirt road. And then probably about 50% of that was on a road that was like,
I mean, calling it a road
was like boulders.
It's incorrect,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so here we go. So before I make sure that's the lake bed. So this gives you, we'll get this up on the screen here, folks. Once I can get this out of the way. So yeah, it's 4.5 hours north of Reno. And all right, so here we are. This kind of gives you a general sense for like the scope of things. So right up here, so you can see California right in here. Like that's the only way to describe it. It's just like there, and there's like the dried lake bed. If you zoom out, you can just see like, Reno and stuff, and Tahoe is down there. So it's in the middle of nowhere. And the actual sanctuary area itself is probably like, it's like 30 or 40 square miles.
Yeah.
So it's like a sanctuary area inside of public lands, and the only access, as Andy kind of talked about, is like
if you want to drive
dirt path.
It's a dirt path. Or I mean, of course you could walk in, you could backpack in. But
yeah, you could.
You could. It'd be interesting. But yeah, and when we say dirt path, no, it's like sand, boulders, rocks. But it's not dirt. It's like jagged rocks and stuff. But it is like an established kind of Jeep trail, that runs a few miles through a certain area of it, which we took. But like then there's nothing.
So we got in the Rubicon, we got up in there. I will say the drive there, as we discussed, was beautiful.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I've never been to non-Las Vegas, Nevada. There's a lot of cool stuff in Nevada. And driving north, it was beautiful because you got like beautiful mountains on one side, and then you got the desert on the other side. So I was kind of blown away by that. And there were people rock mining, like on the side of the road.
Yeah, like looking for rocks.
There's
like geodes.
There's a certain term for it that they
rock jockey.
I don't know.
Rock hounds.
Anyway, so we go up, beautiful drive. We get up there, and what were your first thoughts? What were you expecting?
I don't know. I think I was expecting like the area to look different than the area that we had been going through, but it was all just open desert.
It's endless desert.
Yeah. I don't know what I was expecting, to be honest, but so the thing that sucked is, of course, we went there and it was cloudy. So we could still see stars.
And like, hold on, we got to preface that. It's never cloudy in this part of the country.
Yeah.
We were in Reno. I was there for a week, literally blue skies every freaking day.
Yep.
And then the night we go up there, although it was cloudy, and if I put some pictures on Instagram, we had some windows.
Yes, we did. And in the video, like I got up at like 4, you got up at like midnight, and it was just.
So yeah. So we stayed up. So it's actually cool. You can look up the optimal window for these sorts of things, and the optimal window was 9 p.m. to I think 2 a.m. And so part of the challenge of this is just staying up. Andy was crushing a cold brew at like 7 p.m. because we don't normally stay up that late.
Yeah.
And the window just starts at 9 p.m. It doesn't, it takes some time till it's like peak. So anyway, at 9 p.m. rolls around, and we have some breaks in the clouds. They weren't great. I took some pictures. They were okay. We're like, oh, this sucks, but it was still fun.
No, it was. I mean, it was cool to explore like that type of landscape in Nevada.
Yes,
and seeing the dry. I've never seen like the dried lake beds.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But anyway, I woke up at midnight because I had to pee, and the clouds had lifted, and it was just like gorgeous. It was beautiful. Luckily, it was just too cold. I was like, man, it's too cold. I'm going back to bed.
What were the lows that night? Did it get into
27?
27, yeah. Yeah.
So we'll get to that. I was not expecting that.
I wasn't either.
I was like, it is cold. I got some pictures either. I'm going to bed. And so you got up at 4 and it was the same. And then in the morning, the clouds were gone. So we got a little bit of it. And as I said on the drive home, I don't think you need to drive 4 hours from Reno to get good stars. They won't be that good, but Nevada's just so sparse that you can just get away from the city and there's not that much artificial light. So I don't know if you need to go to this place specifically. And if you are going to go, check the cloud forecast because it was very accurate. I was like, it's like the rain forecast. Sometimes say it's going to rain, it doesn't rain. No, they were spot on with the cloud forecast.
Yeah.
60 to 70% coverage starting at like 6 p.m. ending at like midnight. God, what are the odds? We're in the desert one night our entire lives.
Yeah.
It's freaking cloudy. But I want to talk about first just camping in general in the desert. Because this is not something I have ever done.
It was actually very difficult to find spots to set up tents.
Because you got like sagebrush bushes. Like they're not close to each other, but they're, not more than 2 or 3 feet away. So trying to set up a tent without one of those bushes under it was actually kind of hard to do. And there's horse shit everywhere.
Yeah.
Wild horse, scat, literally everywhere.
Yep.
Like you couldn't, like you had to, that was as much of as an impediment as not finding any land. So that sucked. And to top it off, when we got there, it was ridiculously windy.
Yeah, that was probably the windiest
sucked.
Conditions I've ever had to set up camp in.
When you set up a non-freestanding tent in wind, you're really like, I would sacrifice the extra pound to have a freestanding tent right now.
Well, we were Jeep camping too.
And we could have brought one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did Michael get his tent up so quickly? Ours were a pain. We had that thing
It
up.
was bad. And I will say though, the tents, once we got them up, they handled like champs. But you'll see this in the video, each tent stakeout, and first off, loose ground, not firm ground.
Right.
Loose ground for stakes.
Yeah, it was like sandy, bouldery.
Sandy, on every stake, you're putting 2 to 3 large rocks.
Yep.
And we were using 8 to 9 stakes per tent, so 8 to 9 piles of rocks. But it worked fine.
Yeah, and then luckily the wind pretty much was gone.
The wind died.
Like 7.
Yeah, the wind, it was just when we were setting up. Oh, it was so bad.
Yeah.
And then it went away, and we didn't really need those rocks after that.
And then the sun started going down, and the temperature just plummeted.
So next thing I'm not used to, I mean, it was 70, 75, 80 during the day.
Yeah.
Not 80.
Not 80. Maybe like 70.
70 plus during the day. And by 8:30 or 9, it's in the 50s.
Yeah.
I will say that the one cool thing is, so it did suck. I mean, you're waking up in the 20s. So the low temperature was in the late 20s. But when we went to bed at 10, it was 40s or 50s.
Yeah.
That was nice. Because normally in the winter, you go to bed, and just when you go to bed when it's 25, it sucks. If you can go to bed and it's above 50, and then just when you wake up, you're just freezing cold.
Yeah. Temperature swings.
And I was very surprised with the amount of moisture because we had frozen.
Yes.
What's that about?
I think it was from just our breath, the condensation inside the tents.
I was like, oh, we're in the desert. This is going to be, we're golden.
Dry tents, dry sleeves.
Dry tents everywhere. And I had ice frozen on my tent.
Yeah.
I had to air my tent out.
I had ice on my sleeping
Yeah.
bag.
You had ice.
Yeah.
I was like, God, can't dodge it. So the irony here, part of the irony is I was like, God, we're not going into the Tahoe Mountains. I don't want to deal with the cold. I don't want to deal with the snow, but it very well could have been warmer in some parts of that lake than where we went. I was not anticipating 27 degrees.
No, I'm glad I brought all my down. I was winter prepared.
And it was April, and I'm going to say it now. I'm done with the winter camping.
I know.
It's April. I can't believe I'm doing that in April anyway. And God love winter camping. It's cool. But it really does make you appreciate non-winter camping.
No, I agree, and I just can't wait to get back in the hammock again too. I haven't been in the
So
hammock.
that was first. I had a couple topics I wanted to talk to you about, and one of them was you've been doing.
I've done like 4 or
First
5
off,
nights.
do you want to address any comments at all?
No.
Okay.
People are joking that it's not a podcast until I start slurring my words. No, I'm good. Seriously, I'm fine.
Hey, I got to respond to that comment.
I know. Let me see. A lot of good information about darkroom stuff or dark.
I
Sky
will
Sanctuary.
say,
Dan Bezak said there's one in North Central PA for stargazing.
I took the YouTube camera, shot a video, obviously, and I'm trying to get more into photography, and it was really cool. I have a few on Instagram. They're not great, but they're better than anything I've ever taken. It was cool to get into, astrophotography, take pictures of the stars. I mean, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. And our nephew brought his telescope.
Yeah, that was also cool.
Yeah. But going back to, I've been sleeping on the. So actually, what's really interesting in 2021, I've slept on the ground the entire time so far, which isn't that
interesting.
Which isn't that many.
3
nights.
nights, 4 nights.
I think it's 4 nights.
Wow.
And 3 of the 4
At least
nights,
3, yeah.
or 3 of the 4 nights were in the hot tent. I think.
Did you do 3 hot tent nights?
I can't remember.
You did at least 2. Whatever, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
But
3 to 4 nights.
Yeah, every night that I did in the hot tent, I slept great.
Yeah?
Yeah, I slept really good in the hot tent.
You didn't sleep good in the Altiplex?
The Altiplex is just like, this is why I sleep in a hammock.
What was so, because it's not roomy?
Yeah, a thicker sleeping pad probably would have been better.
Like, were you cold? That's not the tent's
No,
fault.
I wasn't cold at all.
Yeah,
I
I
just
was
felt
cold.
cramped. I was touching all the walls. A couple of people made comments that the Altiplex, of course, was pitched too low. Should have risen it up.
I know. That is rule number 1. Every time I pitch it is I go as high as I think I need to go, and then you got to go like an extra like 2 or 3 inches. Yeah, it's so true.
Dark Sky Park outside Champaign, Illinois. So these are all over the place.
Okay, it was cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
So anyways,
it was cloudy.
Yeah. Rookie move on the Altiplex. I don't sleep in a tent.
You'll learn.
I hope not to learn, but
I wonder if we can talk about
no.
the tent. Do you know what I'm talking about? The tent that they said they're working on?
No, we don't want to drop that for them.
That's true. They didn't say we couldn't talk about it, but all right.
Should ask permission first.
Yeah, that's true. I'm excited.
Yeah. So Altiplex, and then my feet in my sleeping bag were rubbing against.
Bags is designing a new tent. That's all I'll say.
Okay. And so I rubbed my sleeping bag against the tent walls, which again isn't a big deal on a car camping one nighter. Like who cares?
No.
But
Right.
I just sleep so much more comfortable in a hammock. But I will say the hot tent nights, they were fine.
You like the Xtherm? He's been sleeping on a Neo Air Xtherm all these nights he's discussing.
Yeah.
And so you really like it?
I liked it for the hot tent. I felt I was great. I mean, we slept on snow in the hot tent. Like it was warm all night.
There's a question I'm going to answer just because I see it right there.
Militia Dad says, how much water did you guys have to haul in
Great
with
question.
you, or was there a source nearby?
Great question. So we will answer the second
No-
part first.
no
There's
source.
water. There's no water
No sources.
anywhere out there. Like I don't think there was any water we could have had access to within like 30 miles, 40 miles.
This is one of those places where if you're backpacking, you gotta get permission to use cattle troughs.
Ugh.
Like on the CDT, like the first
Right. So no water anywhere out there. We brought in for 4 people, which I'll tell you how much we brought and how much we ended up using. We obviously were like, we're overkill on water. Always. We're Jeep camping. We're going to bring way more than we think we need. We brought 3 gallons of water for 4 people.
We drank 2.
We drank 2 gallons
Yeah.
though. So each person had a half a gallon of water. That's a decent amount of water considering the trip was like 24 hours.
Yeah.
But no water anywhere. Having to do do you think you would do a multi-day backpacking trip out in that like topography?
Yeah, it'd be small miles because I got to carry that's the water. You got a 2-day water.
So
carry.
when we were first going out there before the Dark Sky Rim, before Tahoe got canceled, like backpacking up there, I was like, let's just go into the desert and backpack. I don't know anything about it. There's very few YouTube resources on it. Shout out to Basecamp Chris.
Basecamp Chris.
If you Google like backpacking Nevada desert, for as big of an area as it is, there is nothing. no resources.
Yeah, it was hard to
other
copy.
than Base Camp Chris.
And see, everybody's just like, just go to the BLM and walk in. But we're like, where do you go? Where do you park?
But it's so true. That's what they say. They
Yeah.
literally go to the BLM website, look for some cool stuff, and just go there. And to us, we're like, no, we need a trail. You don't need a trail out there. You can just walk.
Yeah.
You know, that's not how it is out there. It's like you just drive on some road. You're going to need 4-wheel drive or something. Park, get as far as you can and park, and then just go.
Yeah, there's a lot of people will
That's
like
creepy.
a lot of people use like Google Earth and stuff like that to look for like canyons and rock formations to go explore.
Now, doing that with a Jeep multi-day,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
that would be cool. That is truly overlanding, which is something I wanted to discuss. What is overlanding?
Google it.
I Googled it. It is literally defined as going to and camping in places that are hard to get to. You specifically using a car.
Yeah.
So
It's just like, what happens if it breaks down?
that's why you bring the freaking SOS thing.
Yeah.
I mean, how do they get you? I mean, they can't bring a towing. I mean, do they just bring another Jeep in and winch you and tow you out?
I think you got to have multiple people to like, you got to have tow straps or something to pull you out. Like, what if you break like an axle or something like that?
Yeah, so it's funny what you say that because
it's rough.
When I be planning this trip, I'm like when we plan our backcountry trips, I'm like, all right, we need to have a contingency plan, worst case scenario, and usually that is bringing the Garmin InReach or knowing how to get to cell coverage, but we don't have a broken axle in a car to deal with.
Yeah,
I mean that's a whole new logistical issue, right? Like you need a tow truck.
I think from what I've seen online, like you go with like a group of Jeeps and then like they'll pull you out or something. I don't know.
So is this a thing though? Like, can I go book a trip and be like, I want to go with a group of like 20 Jeeps. I want to go into the desert. I can see this being cool in Utah as well.
Yeah, it's a thing.
That would be fun.
I know. You know what else?
That'd be super fun.
Yeah. It would be fun, and you could do some different types of recreating as well.
Correct.
If you're into shooting, like a lot of
I
people
knew
go,
when you said that. I'm like, he's talking about shooting guns, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a thing out there.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Just bring it, buy
Yeah.
a couple cases, bring some things, some targets.
Two Cross says Base Camp Chris is awesome.
Yeah, so
I watched a bunch of his videos
Yeah.
too. I really like his videos.
Yeah, they're really good. Base Camp Chris, check him out. He's where is he based? In California, Northern
Yeah.
California.
I think so.
Another thing I didn't realize is if you live in Northern California or if you live in Northern Nevada, they're very close to each other. I mean, if you live in Nevada, you can drive 10 miles and get a totally different vibe in Northern California. It's kind of a cool perk of living there.
Yeah.
Just you obviously want to live in the Nevada side. You get taxed way less, and you could just drive over. I was like, that's the play.
Mark Haas says bring an extra axle and tools. Is that real?
I bet on these
Yeah.
big trips we're discussing. I mean, why would you not between 20 people bring a couple? You're definitely bringing a lot of spare tires. I was incredibly impressed with how the Rubicon tires handled those rocks. Because you're driving over rocks that are like this,
Yeah.
like left and right. And you brought it up. You were like, didn't you say something?
I was like, Michael, how are we supposed to? He's got a spare. I was like, how?
And it's a full size spare.
Yeah, and I was like, how do you change the tire on this? You just use the regular jack? Because I don't think he had like a off-roading jack, like one of those big tall.
No, I don't know. And I think Rich, I think Rich had one. He was like, "Do you want to take it?" And he's like, I think we were like, "No, we're good." Another thing that people do for this though, which I know you knew about, and we had access to, is they will deflate their tires.
Yeah.
Which, and Michael even said it. We might have wanted to consider that.
Yeah. Here's some.
And you bring an air compressor to reflate them.
He had an air compressor though. We had that, and we had Fix a Flat.
Yeah, correct. We did have both of those. Yeah.
Some other hilarious things. We got some comments of like from people apparently who do a little bit more overlanding or Jeep camping in the video, and they're like, "I can't believe you brought backpacking food."
Yeah, true story.
Yeah, that's like a thing.
Well, here's the deal. We packed for a backpacking trip and we just got super lazy and we brought it. But they're absolutely correct. You should be bringing fun food. You should be bringing the propane stove. Yeah, you should be bringing it all. No fires out there. Propane stove for sure. That would be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just kind of, honestly, do you know what happened? Like Thursday night. So this is what happened. I was out in Reno. Andy was flying in. I'm talking to my brother-in-law. I'm like, what are we going to do, man? I'm like, I do not want to go into the snow. I thought just maybe first week of April, there might be some areas in the mountains that don't have snow. That is so incorrect.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what are we going to do? We got to pack for snow. And the whole reason was we've been watching the cloud forecast and it just looked so bad. And we're like, we should not drive 4 hours. It's going to be cloudy. And we woke up that morning at like 5:30. I'm like, dude, where are we going? He's like, F it. Let's just go to Massacre Rim. If it's cloudy, who cares? It'll still be fun. And so that's what happened. That was the genesis. And then you had just packed everything. We just had all this backpacking food and it was all packed up, ready to go. Like even our packs. I mean, you brought your pack.
Yeah.
And we just threw it in and went. I mean, if we were doing this again, I'm bringing the inflatable air mattress, like camping air mattress.
Yeah, I'm bringing like a Coleman burner.
You're bringing a 30-pound Coleman tent. I'm bringing a full car camping setup, and we screwed up not doing that because we could have gone. We could have gone to Walmart and gotten that for like $30 or $40.
I know.
You know.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
It's definitely something I would do again.
I've forgotten how to car camp.
I know. We haven't. We used to car camp a lot, and we just don't anymore. Even though car camping is so much fun, and in that area of the world, it's very popular, and you can go to sweet campsites. So there are a couple talking points. First off, there are some good comments here.
Yeah, Two Cross says my brother is in Utah going off-roading today with the Jeep Club near Moab.
See, hook us up. Let's go.
Wasn't Devin saying too, like there's a bunch of camping with those like dune buggy or razor things?
There's a specific. Yeah, there's something, Devin, drop it in the chat. There's a specific, it's like sand crawling. I think it was sand crawling.
Something like that.
Just so much fun stuff to do in the desert. This is a good question. So I'm from the West Coast in BC. At what point of the year do you need to start worrying about snakes and other poisonous creepy crawlies? I've gone past the comments. I can't see the bottom of it. Creepy crawlies in the desert environment.
I don't know. I mean, I saw a scorpion.
We had one animal encounter. We saw a scorpion.
It was like.
Do you think if that thing stung you, you'd be in trouble?
No. I don't think most of them will kill you.
Preface this,
It'll hurt.
I did activate and bring the Garmin. So here's the thing. I have this thing now. You got to pay a yearly fee of like $20 or $30 just to have the ability to do a 1 month subscription. Once you do that, it's like $15. I thought that was a possibility though. Like, rattlesnake or scorpion. I thought like those were the, we talk about a common, threat assessment.
Yeah, I love how the scorpion was right next to my tent too.
It was like this big though. It wasn't a big one.
No.
Now, are there snakes out there? Because everyone talks about it. Everyone talks like, rattlesnakes, but is that actually like a thing?
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. I don't know the time of the year to answer your question though.
So Cody Howell just gave us a super chat, $4.99.
Oh, thanks, you.
Cody. Enjoy your content. I don't have a question. Appreciate the videos. Maybe this will pay the gas for the long distance shots from the last vid.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, thanks,
it will.
Cody. It definitely will.
All this money goes. I'm trying to think of our next AV upgrade. It might be your M50
or 2 more of these.
You think, dude? That's $1,200.
At least 1 more.
This channel doesn't make that much money.
I know. This is a sweet comment. Chris Regan says, I'm actually heading out on an overlanding trip tonight in the Pipestone area in Montana, packing now while listening to y'all.
All right, so that's awesome, by the way. And I think this is a big hobby, right? So Montana, Utah, Nevada.
With all this public land and these trails, these fire roads.
Yeah. You just you understand why people that live out there have these like sick 4x4 vehicles.
Yeah, and like Reno's like it's either some type of like lifted Jeep or
a truck.
Or like a Toyota Tacoma.
And I'll tell you what, especially after being in Colorado, I'm really liking those Tacomas. And what's the bigger one? Because I was so I tried to rent a Tacoma, the Denali.
No,
that's a GMC.
No, it's the Toyota.
Oh, the Tundra.
The Tundra. Yeah.
Those trucks are pretty badass.
Yeah.
I'm liking trucks,
Until everybody wants to borrow it.
And that's the thing about having a truck, man. Especially if you live by your friends. You got a truck. Everyone wants to borrow your truck. Two-cross scorpions hurt like hell. Limb will swell up. Okay, so it's nothing to be trifled with, but maybe it won't kill you.
Two Cross also says snakes are there, but hide from you. Colder it is, the less they move.
It was cold. That's true. That's a good point. They're cold-blooded. That's a very good point.
Yeah, we don't know crap about the desert.
So
we
don't know. And it was, hello, everyone's saying it.
Yeah,
Everyone's saying
tundra.
This is like
Tundra.
15 seconds delayed.
Do you know, speaking of Toyota trucks.
Oh, God, that's funny.
So have you heard of the Toyota Hilux?
No.
It's not in the U.S.
Okay.
It's kind of like a Tacoma, but apparently better. But everybody raves about them like all over the world, except they're not in the U.S. I think it's the Hilux. Everybody talks about.
I know what you're talking about. Yes, I do know what you're talking about. I didn't realize, and I mean, this might blow your mind. The Tacoma is built on the RAV4 chassis, and the Tundra is built on, I think, the Highlander.
Makes sense.
And then, or maybe the 4Runner chassis. I don't know. Makes sense. We're going off on trucks now. But anyway, a lot of the four-wheel cars there, more of them were trucks than Jeeps.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I would do a lifted.
Or some vans. There were some lifted vans.
I would do a lifted 4Runner.
Dude, sick.
Yeah,
Sick.
I know.
Yeah. So before this trip even happened, you and I were...
Look, I ride around in a 97 4Runner with 313K.
Oh, dude, that is awesome.
Yeah, that's...
Those Toyota cars, man.
Yeah. I
drove a Toyota. My wife drives a Toyota. They're the best bang for your buck.
Shake out shit.
Yeah, I lived in Tucson. Had to shake out shoes before putting them on. See, that's creepy. See, I slept with my shoes in my tent.
I didn't.
Oh, rookie move.
I gambled.
Rookie move.
I know.
Did you shake them out?
No.
You didn't think about that? You're
Yeah.
like,
Oh, there's not gonna be scorpions.
Even though there's a scorpion right next to your tent.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
So you've already hit on it. There were a couple of things I wanted to discuss. First was camping in the desert. We've kind of discussed that. Windy.
It was rough.
Super temperature extremes.
Everything covered in dust.
No shade, full sun. So we kind of talked about it. The other thing I want to talk about, we've kind of hit on it, is how sweet is the West?
Oh, God.
I mean, in terms of outdoor recreating, like it is, like if I realistically asked you to gauge how much better is it out there, like if I said 100 times better than living in where we live in Ohio in terms of how good the outdoor recreating is, do you think 100 times would be like, like I don't know what the right word is, like overkill? No,
not overkill. And I think one of the things that it has to do with is access. And everybody
that's certainly one part, yes.
And everybody talks about this, and it's so important. It's just like there's access for everybody in tons of different environments, whether it's the mountains, the deserts, and like that's part of the culture. That's what you do.
And proximity.
Yeah. Proximity
to access. Like Ohio, even if we drive an hour to go to something kind of cool for Ohio standards, we're like, oh, it's not bad, like an hour. An hour radius out of some of these areas in the West, like Colorado or Nevada where we were, or Utah, an hour radius gets you everything from these like high alpine mountainous fly fishing, backpacking environments to like desert, to Moab, to like Zion, to like that sort of stuff. Whereas Ohio, an hour radius, it's just more of the same green overgrown stuff.
Yeah.
But
I don't want to crap on Ohio
too
much.
And something another thing I wanted to bring up on this was coming back to Ohio after being in Nevada and Colorado for 2 weeks. I love how lush it is here.
Yeah.
It's so green. I mean, it's too green. There's overgrowth, super green. Whereas in the desert, everything's brown and dry and there's dust everywhere. And it's like, even in the high alpine areas there, it's just dry and dusty. And coming back to how lush and green it was here, it gives you an appreciation for it.
Yeah.
Like, no pun intended, the grass is always greener.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, even though that can be a pain when you want to backpack in it, when everything's overgrown. But I don't know, it was cool. And honestly, not to talk about climate change, but did you know this? So one of the things that's happening with climate change is the Midwest is getting a little bit wetter.
Oh, I knew about that.
And a little bit warmer.
Yeah.
So they say we're going to have the same geography as like, 400 or 500 miles south of here in like 30 years, which is like Virginia, North Carolina. It's like nice and warm. It's like, it's not bad. So that's how, I don't know what's going to happen to these dry, dusty areas out west. So it might get worse, but here it's just lush and green. And I don't know, you get an appreciation for that after going out there.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's just like I don't know, just access and the geography. So
it's beautiful. I mean,
yeah.
it's just mountains. I don't know. It's so different. The Midwest is such a different space when it comes to being in the outdoors.
I think it's just easier out there. It's just easier to get to stuff. It's easier to do stuff.
And like you said, access and variety. Because you got skiing, you got deserting, you got hiking, you got snowshoeing, you got fly fishing.
Yeah.
You got like biking and running because, you know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of space and paths. You got trail running.
Yeah.
There's a bigger variety of activities people do.
Lots of good river systems and lakes.
Rafting.
Yeah.
We didn't even, you know what I mean? Like Ohio, what do you got? You got some backpacking.
I mean, we got all that stuff. It's just kind of.
We don't have all that stuff.
I mean,
I guess we kind of do.
yeah, we kind of do.
I guess we do.
Not on the same level.
Not on the same level. Okay, 'cause we have fly fishing. We have trail running. We
Yeah.
have all that stuff. It's just, you know, way worse. Two Cross, we're in the golden age of global warming. Yeah, we'll see what happens. A lot of Toyota talk. Love it.
Yeah.
A lot of Tacoma talk.
You know what is a sweet Toyota?
That's friggin' awesome.
Too? Like an old Toyota Land Cruiser.
Those are sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Toyotas are awesome, man. They just know how to build cars. Here's a question for us from Chat Morgan. This is a great question. And this is one I ask myself a lot. Do you guys plan on going back to Isle Royale?
I would like to at some point in
Yes.
my life.
In fact, if this year, you know, we had 2 weeks, which is kind of an anomaly. I thought about a 2-week Isle Royale trip.
That's how you would do it. And I would want to
Right.
do
That's how you do it. And you do it fishing focused.
fishing focused.
Now, yeah, right. Like, I don't mean hiking it. I mean, we're taking a canoe or something,
Yeah.
you know, but 2 weeks.
Yep. Definitely. I would do Isle Royale again, fishing focused. And I'd probably do a lot more base camping and fishing at lakes.
Yeah, absolutely. Like
Or-
a few days.
And navigate the outskirts of the island, and then also 2 weeks is a must. You can't
Yeah.
even touch.
No, you need, if you're gonna, it's such a pain to get out there that if you're gonna make the trip, I mean, you know, for us, 13 hours in a car and then a 4-hour freaking Edmund Fitzgerald boat ride to this island. If you're gonna go out there, I mean, most people we were on the boat with were going for 2 weeks.
Yeah, and they were like canoeing, kayaking type of thing.
Yeah. So to answer your question, we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back. They're planning a trip this September. Fantastic time to go there. We were there.
It's gonna be cold.
That's when we were there.
Yeah,
It depends when in September.
be cold and wet.
Yeah. If you're there late September, that's a lot different than like early September, end of August, which is when we were there. Still had mosquitoes. No black flies.
Yeah, man, that makes me miss Isle Royale. So awesome.
Yeah, here's a comment about New Mexico. I think New Mexico falls into what we're talking about with this
Definitely.
overlanding, like just vast nothingness. Yeah, it's so different. It's so different than what we have here in the Midwest. It's crazy, and even just on the east, even like Maine, like that area, it's so different than New Mexico, Utah, Colorado, Nevada, like that dry, arid desert. It's just crazy. And if you haven't been there, it's kind of worth going to. I mean, I don't know if I would go there over other places, you know, like the Colorado Trail or something, but I would do some desert thing, you know.
Yeah. You know what's crazy too? And I was just going back to Isle Royale. The logistics of getting to Isle Royale are way more complicated than going out to Colorado or Reno.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
out
You
west.
got boats.
You got long drives. You got weird airports flying there.
So if we go back though, we're taking the seaplane.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
Once
sure,
in a
right?
lifetime.
I mean, it's not that much more expensive than the boat.
It's actually pretty common.
It is very common. I think it was like, I mean, the boat wasn't cheap. The boat was at least 40 or 50 or 60 bucks each way.
Yeah. I think the seaplane's like $300.
Yeah. So the seaplane's probably 2 or 3 times, probably 3 times more expensive, but it's 20 minutes versus like 4 to 5 hours.
And you can get into you can get into different parts of the island a lot quicker.
Yes, you can there's more flexibility on how you get to the island and which end of the island you get to, which is huge.
And there are options for resupply too on Isle Royale.
And I think when we go back, we're definitely staying at the hotel.
Oh yeah, last night.
So something I thought about. So when this video, I was like, is this really the Massacre Rim? Is this really the most remote place ever? And I was thinking, Isle Royale, so remote. 40 or 50 miles from the coastline. But
not from Minnesota.
Okay, 50 miles.
Right. No, I get what you're saying.
No, but the whole point is there's a freaking hotel on the island. There is stuff on the island you will never be more than 10 to 30 miles from. Versus in the desert, you're 50 to 100 miles from anything. Like if a serious medical emergency happens, you're in a better situation in Isle Royale than you probably are.
Yeah. I mean, there's
in the middle of desert.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple ranger outposts on Isle Royale, and there's rangers walking the trail. So,
yeah. So I do think even though Isle Royale, from the look of it, looks more remote, I think the desert. There's just nothing in the desert. It is crazy.
Yeah.
And it's not like, there's nothing. No, there's like 100 miles of nothing in these directions. And you do not get that in the Midwest with the population density. So very cool. Got some good comments. Oh, Maroon Bells in July. That'll be awesome.
Probably that 4-pass loop.
And we have not discussed it at all, but we're going back to Colorado.
Yeah, we're going to try to get a couple more sections of the
squeeze that in this year. So absolutely love Colorado.
Yeah. It's just, you've heard us rant about this before. It's logistically easy to do. So
yeah, considering all things considered, Colorado, because we can fly direct there for pretty cheap.
Yeah,
for flight standards, and then it's only a few hours outside of the getting to the stuff out of the airport can be a major pain.
Yeah,
but access for us to Colorado is pretty easy versus some other places. It's not so bad. But so. We'll talk. I think we'll probably talk a little bit more about it at the Q&A next week. But there's a Colorado Trail trip forming for this summer. We're gonna just squeeze in before this TRT trip.
Yeah,
which we haven't really talked about, and that trip is fast approaching.
I know.
There
was a good comment in here from Terry Lund. It says, "What's your favorite hike experience ever?"
It's a good question.
Isle Royale's got me thinking. Now we had a great time in Isle Royale.
Isle Royale was awesome. Yeah. Isle Royale, or Colorado Trail.
Yeah, I think they're both different, but Isle Royale was very unique and very remote, and so
it's just the vibe.
Yeah.
There's a good vibe there. Although Colorado, they have a good vibe as well, but Isle Royale is just so unique. I think it's a bucket list. You got to go there.
Mike's Trail Archive says, Are y'all picking up from where you left off on the CT? Not sure yet. Might skip around.
No, I don't think so. I thought about it, and then I was discussing this while out in Colorado to the locals. I tell you, they're like, there are such better sections of the Colorado Trail than what we did. But I was like, that's not the point. We want to start at the beginning and hike it. But dude, if you get far into it in the San Juans, it's way better. So I don't think we're gonna be congruent. I think we're gonna skip ahead. We are going to hike the whole Colorado Trail in my lifetime. I swear to God, it's awesome. But I don't think this summer we're gonna pick up where we left off, which would be segment 7.
Yep.
I think
right out of Breck.
Let's look at like segment 20 or something. I don't know. Going to be an interesting year for permits. 2,500 people applied on Glacier's opening day for advanced reservations.
Jeez.
So this brings up a great point and something I was told while out in Nevada. So in Nevada, and I'm sure it's happening in other states, they have had to super crack down on the amount of people at RV and public campgrounds.
Yeah.
Because of this whole COVID thing, and it makes total sense. And we have embrace this. People are going outside more.
Yeah.
because of this COVID thing.
Yeah.
They're renting RVs.
Yeah. People are outdoor recreating in mass.
2,500 people on one day. And Glacier already is like isn't it one of the most visited parks in the US?
I don't know.
Have we been there? I've never been there.
Right? I've never been there either.
Yeah.
We live vicariously through David Gray's trip videos to Glacier.
Speaking of David Gray, man, we gotta see him.
Yep.
Was it his 60th birthday?
I don't know. It just happened.
He just had a birthday. I don't know what it was. Shout out to him. Have you guys ever thought about doing the West Coast Trail on Vancouver Island?
I know what that is.
I don't know what that trail is, but
it's a lot of beach hiking.
Watched several series of Alone, and I'm ready to go to Vancouver Island.
Yeah.
That looks really sweet. I've never been to that biome too.
So it's a rainforest.
Right.
But I remember watching somebody's trip videos like years and years ago on the West Coast Trail. And like
that's what it's called, the West Coast Trail.
Yeah, okay. It's on Vancouver Island.
Okay,
and like people were walking through these like little like seafood like outposts where there was like seafood boils going on. So like in the middle of your trip,
that's cool.
Yeah, you get some fresh crab or clams or something. Pretty cool.
So that'd be cool. The CT is amazing. Jumping ahead, say 20 plus.
Yeah,
that's what we've heard. Oh, Mad Hippies.
Yeah,
I'm familiar with you and what you post on Instagram. You're all about that area. Yeah, okay. That's what I was thinking. I was looking at the collegiate peaks and like past there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're doing. But then I don't know, like, how far from Denver is that? It's got to be like 4 hours. I don't know.
Logistically.
The chair fund. And hey, I haven't even said this yet on this podcast.
This is
first off, appreciate the super chat.
This is $6.99 Canadian.
Wait, hold on. Camping is illegal here in Ontario. If so, the outdoor video. Wait, I can't. Ontario. I can't.
Here, I'll read it.
You read it.
So Mary Rouse sent us $6.99 Canadian, which is like $50 US.
No, it's not.
I'm joking. And
the other way.
Camping is illegal here in Ontario, so the outdoor vids are so nice. Love hearing about your adventures and living vicariously through you all. Yeah, they gotta change that.
Dude, there are more lockdowns out there.
That's so I know.
And like, I complain. I mean, listen, we haven't talked about COVID, and these podcasts used to center around COVID.
I know.
But why shut off the outdoors? Because you don't want people congregating there? Is that that's got to be the rationale, right?
Yeah. But I mean, most states in the U.S. took the opposite approach of like, these are things that you can do during the lockdown.
And there has been some scientific research coming out now that shows that UV light outdoor really does degrade the coronavirus.
Oh. Well, first shot.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Let's go lick some doorknobs.
I can't, dude, I can't tell you how good it feels to get at least that first shot.
Yeah, number two.
It's just like number 2 is gonna suck. It is what it is. But even after the first shot, a few weeks into the first shot, you got some pretty solid immunity, and just traveling, it's just a weight off your shoulders, knowing that when you get vaccinated, you might still get it. Maybe worst case scenario, you get it, but you are not going to get it that bad. You are not going to get 100% protection against hospitalization and death. 100%.
Unless you get the Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah, no. Pfizer or Moderna. Yeah, no. You want the Pfizer or the Moderna. We're just teasing. Get whatever vaccine you can get. The Johnson & Johnson is still 100% effective against hospitalization. They're investigating those blood clot deaths. Okay, they're investigating that. It might not have been caused by it.
Right.
But anyway, I was just happy to get it before traveling. But honestly, traveling, flying, no issues whatsoever. I'd never felt unsafe. Masks, everyone was distanced. None of my flights were packed.
Nobody was distanced.
No, it was packed.
I was just going to say, this spring traveling, the airports were packed. The planes were packed.
I was trying to sugarcoat it. But I will say, incredibly high mask adherence, both in the terminal and 100% mask adherence on the plane. Otherwise, they get with you. Yeah. I flew Southwest, and they harassed some people for the types of masks they had and how they were wearing them.
I know.
We all got to wear them, people. you know. But the flight attendants were like, it was not like lackadaisical. They were going after people.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully this is coming to an end here. So.
Yeah, but dude, we have literally been saying that for a year now.
I know.
Like last April, we're like, we got this surge in the spring.
When was our first live stream lockdown?
It was early March of 2020.
Yeah, from my basement.
From Andy's basement, and I truly, first off, I'm pretty proud and amazed by the fact that 1 year later, we're at least partially vaccinated against it. That is fast.
Yeah,
that's very fast. But it's still a year. I mean,
know.
That's so much time, and COVID is not, even if when the rates go down, the effects are not going away anytime soon.
No, and they got to figure out how to get these vaccines out to like countries that can't afford to like drop billions of dollars on research.
I mean, we will. I mean, that's one of the good things about, Western culture and what's happening is I think they're doing a good job about, because we have to stop it everywhere if we're going to stop it.
Yeah.
Stop the COVID stuff and promoting the vaccines. Hey, Hey,
this is what we're gonna do here.
It's all those COVID antibodies getting to my head.
Yeah, all those microchips telling you what to do.
Hey, I do think, honestly, it's a choice. I do believe the government should not force you to get a vaccine.
No, not at all.
And they're doing that in some countries.
Yeah, no, I'm just like, okay, we got to reopen the country, get your vaccine or don't get it.
As my response to everyone who comes at me with that is, I would let the government shove a 2x4 up my ass if it meant we could just go back to real life.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of this. I'm so sick of everything. Like, if you just like swallow some water and start coughing in public,
I know
you get shamed.
I know.
I mean, I am done with that. Whatever you got to do, if it's microchips, whatever, I'm willing. That's been my take on this.
Is this another?
No, there's some more Canadian super chats. Okay.
Militia Dad, $10. Don't know how to change to US fund, but I want to thank you guys for your continuous content and podcasts. I listen to you while driving all day at work. You make my day go by faster. That's awesome.
Hey,
sorry, there's been a lag. So
true story. 10 Canadian is $7.99 USD. So,
awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. The exchange rate's getting better there, Canadians. All right.
Yeah.
2 years ago, I went to Toronto. Have you been to Toronto?
Yeah.
First off, couldn't be a bigger fan of Canada.
Yeah, I love Toronto.
I love Canada. I've been to Toronto. It was incredible. But with the exchange rate, it was super cheap to go there as an American.
Yeah. I've done a decent amount of outdoor recreating in
Canada has got it right on a lot of things, including outdoor recreating specifically.
But not right now.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, there is at least a little bit of evidence that shows that you're somewhat safer outside now. Maybe they think that these places are just going to get swamped with people. I don't know what their rationale is.
Yeah.
At least, I will say, being out west and I was in Colorado, I was in an area in Colorado where it was mandated you must wear masks outside, which was, I'm in Ohio, man. We're like, they don't care here. I'm in Ohio. Ohio is like, nobody's wearing masks outside.
So they that town requires it? Breck?
Mandated, yeah.
Wow.
And do you know what they have? The banners. So this is in a ski town in Colorado, and the banners say, "Be the reason we have a season," because these towns' economies are predicated on ski seasons.
Yeah, so it's just
if COVID gets bad, they can't have it, and their economy dies, and so it's like, we'll wear the masks, like bring in the skiers.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was weird to have to wear a mask outside. I went running. It was weird. I had a thing I had to pull up. Like it kind of sucked, but hey, I abided by the rules.
Yep.
All right. We got to eat some ribs.
Yeah. We've been going close to 60 minutes now.
This was fun. We will be back, I think, next. So few announcements.
Yeah. Probably
it's next Friday, right? Yeah.
Or Saturday.
No, I think it's next Friday.
Maybe. We should confirm with Scott.
Yeah. So we will be live streaming next weekend. It will be Friday or Saturday. We're going to do the Q&A. People ask us a ton of questions, and I got really sick. It wasn't COVID. I couldn't do the Q&A, and then we were traveling. Yeah. Sorry. But next weekend, we're going to be on our buddy Scott. He went out. He owns a brewery. He has a brewery-specific podcast, brewery, you know, BSing around podcast we're going to be on. We'll post it on Instagram. And then the other night we'll be on our podcast. So it'll be back to back.
Oh.
And then we'll get some guests back on here and we'll be back to the usual routine. Took a month off. We're back.
Yeah. It's good to take some time off.
It's good to take some time off. I don't know. It's kind of fun also not announcing these.
Yeah, I like it.
It is kind of fun. So
yeah, and thanks for everybody for the super
thanks
chats.
for the super chats. Honestly, thank you. That money goes to a good cause. Maybe we'll have to buy Kyle a chair anyway,
Yeah.
even though he'll hate it and he won't use it. He'll probably make a video burning the chair we bought for him.
They bought for him. So
Right, our people bought him a chair. I bet he would do something funny with it.
yeah, so we'll either buy Kyle a chair or we'll do something good with the money. So
Yeah. All right, people. This was fun.
yeah, thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks.